Does your coffee table look like this? A number of remotes, each for a different function and a different component, and a choreographed remote juggling routine before you finally get to your viewing experience? In this video, we'll take a look at a number of products from Sofabaton, a line of products that now extends into a budget version, the U3, the beautiful new X2, and the accessories that go along with them. Let's take a deep dive and get inside Sofabaton on Inside the Home Theater. If you've clicked on this video, the chances are you are already aware of Sofabaton, and you're probably down a wormhole because there's hundreds, literally hundreds of videos out from YouTubers and home theater enthusiasts and professionals talking about the products from Sofabaton, as they do an excellent job of marketing by getting the word out through guys like me and my friends in the home theater industry. There's any number of videos already out that'll walk you through tutorials on every little detail on how to operate the remote, telling the differences between the U3, the X1S, and the X2. In this video, I'm going to take a slightly different approach and share with you my real-world experience with the X1 and the X1S. And now, since I've got my hands on the new X2 and the budget-minded U3, a very, very interesting product, I could try to explain to you the differences and how they fit into my real-world experience, which would make your decision on which Sofabaton remote is best for you. Little did Sofabaton know when they contacted me about doing a video that I was already a customer, and a very enthusiastic one at that. I haven't had any affiliation with the product until now, and I was just simply a user. I got curious about which remote brand would be the best for me with my situation, my rack, my equipment, and my television, etc. And I purchased the X1. Since the product was relatively new at the time, the databases weren't complete. There had to be a lot of customization. There was quite a bit of a learning curve for me initially. But once I got it working, I found out it was the perfect remote for my situation. However, a couple of months into it, it started acting up. The scroll wheel or scroll ball started to stick, and I was unable to move up with it after a while. I'd have to struggle, and after many tries, I would finally get it to lock into settings where I could go and restart it. And after I restarted, it would function normally for a period of time before the problem kicked in again. I thought maybe that my hands were clean enough and that I was getting grease and oil into the mechanism and causing it to fail. Finally, I contacted Sofabaton via email, and they were very happy to send me a replacement. I got my new X1, and after a couple of months, the same problem happened again. Now, being the meticulous professional that I am, I started looking into it to see if other customers were having the same problems, and they were. Sofabaton listened, and they released the X1S, an improved version of the X1 with a more up-to-date database, a few extra functions, and most importantly, a very improved scroll ball. I've been using the X1 ever since, and it has not had a problem. This one actually has a rubber case for protection that if you see one of those cases on Amazon, it's definitely the real deal. My X1S has been very reliable, and I have been very curious to know what improvements and advancements have been made in the new X2. So I was happy to accept Sofabaton's offer to do a video and review my experience with all three remotes. Now, at its price point, the Sofabaton Universal remotes are a home run. They fit the budget of most home theater owners and will do the same basic functions that much more elaborate and expensive systems can do. The trick is, what are your needs? What do you want your remote to do? And then figuring out which Sofabaton remote is best for you. So as I mentioned, there is quite a bit of a learning curve at first, and there are any number of tutorials and videos out there showing you how to operate these in quite a lot of detail. I've spent the last couple of days playing with the X2, this beautiful new aluminum finished one, with the touchscreen up top. No more scroll wheel here on this one. And I gotta say, I love it. Anyone who picks this up will just know just from the sheer weight that it is a very, very rugged remote. And it just feels like it's packed with more features. Now, what you see up here are 3 different activities. And what activities are macro commands combined with the actual component that you're operating, and it combines them with the functions from all of your other components. So, for example, if you want to watch Netflix, you need to turn on your Apple TV 4K. You need to turn on your receiver and put it to the right input. Of course, you need your television or your projector to come on at the same time as well. And all of those commands are combined into what they call an activity. Now, the X2, as well as the X1S, its predecessor, is very thorough and very detailed in walking you through the setup. The basic process with the X2 is to first set up all of your different components using the database of the commands that Sofabaton provides you. And while some of those commands were difficult for me to find in my first X1, as the database was still growing, they are all now at the point where all of the components that I was using have now got full commands in the database from Sofabaton. So for instance, my Anthem AVM70, all of the usable commands that I would want to use in the AVM70 are in the database with Sofabaton. The Apple TV 4K, you can choose from 3rd generation and older or 4th generation and newer, and every command you would want from the Apple TV is already in there. So when you download the commands, you don't have to do much customization after that. What's really impressive is that even the Arvolution Player One 8K that I use for watching movies has its full set of commands in the Sofabaton database as well. When I initially had the X1, there were user profiles in there with the commands, but I did have to add a lot of commands in there myself. The questions you need to ask yourself before you program the remote or even decide which one is best for you is not only what order and what combination of components you need in a particular activity, but you also have to think about what is it that you reach for the remote to do while you're watching. Perhaps you make some tweaks. Perhaps you find yourself adjusting something or needing to switch to another remote right in the middle of your viewing experience. That's where all the custom buttons come in. There's a new set of 3 buttons, A, B, and C along the bottom that can be your own commands that aren't already in the full database. There's also the 4 different colors. Now, for instance, when I am on my Watch Arvolution activity, I like to have the subtitle option and the audio option available. If I'm listening to a multi-channel disc and I want to change the music track, or if I want to turn subtitles on or off, I like to have those available right on there. So I have added them there. So my subtitle is now my red button. So while I'm watching a movie, I can turn subtitles on and off. The audio button is the one all the way to the right, the blue one. So I can switch from DTS or Dolby Digital or Dolby Atmos when a particular title has those options in there. So I can make those changes on the fly as I've used those. All of these buttons on this one for my Watch Arvolution profile are being used. I've used the up and down buttons to switch to the next track. Now, in all of my activities, I've used the bottom 3 buttons to access the menu on my Anthem that lets me control which sound field I'm using. If I want to go with DTS, X Neural, Dolby Surround, have none on there so that I just get the original codec. What I've done is I've had the menu initiated by pressing A. I scroll through them with B, so I just did the navigate up, and then C is OK. So these 3 are dedicated to the Anthem to change the sound field or the whatever you want to call it, the sound profile on the receiver. And that is the case for all of my activities.
Okay, now we'll run through my activities and show you the commands that I have programmed into the X2. We're going to start with Watch Apple TV. Hit OK to get it activated. Slide it over to initiate it. It turns everything on that's involved in the activity. The receiver, as you can see, is coming on, going to the right input. TV is obviously on. And here you are on the home page for Apple TV. All the controls here, except for volume up and down, mute, and the others that I've customized will all control Apple TV just like its own remote would. So up and down and OK are all the same. The all-important back button for Apple TV. And there you go. Now we switch to the next activity, and it's Watch Blu-ray. Now what's going to happen is my UDP 800 Blu-ray player is going to turn on. And the Anthem receiver will change to the right input. There you see Blu-ray, and now all the controls here, most of them, will control the Blu-ray player. So we'll wait for this disc to load. That screen will turn off and on one more time. And there you see that there's a Blu-ray there. I'm going to turn the volume down on this so we don't hear the movie volume while we're demonstrating. We don't want to get flagged for that. So now we're waiting for the movie to re-engage, and we're going to just resume from where I was last time so I can show you the custom buttons. I know earlier in this demonstration I said that blue was being used for audio and red for subtitles. It was actually the opposite. So I'll show you while this movie is playing, I have pre-programmed the red button to be the audio menu for the disc. And now I can select the different audio codecs. If I press blue, then I get the subtitle menu. Press it again to toggle it off. There's also an info button. So across the top, you'll see information on the codec that's playing, whatever the title is, and all the technical information you need. And then yellow is a custom command I've created for all of my activities to turn the picture off on the TV. The audio keeps playing. This is in the case of a multi-channel or Dolby Atmos album that I want to listen to. I can be in complete darkness, and I press it again to turn the picture back on. Now we're just going to switch right to the next activity, which is watch Arvolution. It'll turn on my Arvolution Player 1 8K. And there you see the input from my Anthem has switched to Arvolution. And as we wait for this to load in, reminder that the Arvolution products, more information and availability at murphonicshometheater.com. So now it's going to open my RVideo interface, and I'm going to show you the custom commands that I've created for when I'm watching or listening to something on the RVideo player. I'm going to go down to 4K. I'm going to pick a movie and just get a movie playing so you can see. I'm going to take our chances on the permissions here. I think we should be okay for just this demonstration. So we'll go right into the Blu-ray menu and select a scene, and we'll go into that scene, and while it's playing I can show you how the custom buttons work on the Blu-ray player. Activity. Now this is starting it up from scratch, going to the Blu-ray menu as the Arvolution player plays back 4K and Blu-ray content exactly like it does if it's on the disc. So I'm going to go to resume. We'll go part of the movie here, and then we'll show you as I hit the audio button, which is red. You get the audio menu for Arvolution. Toggle it again to turn it off. Then I have the subtitle menu as well. There's also an info button for Arvolution where I can see all of the nerdy specs there. You can make sure everything is playing back like it's supposed to be. And the good old picture off button in the case of listening to multi-channel audio. Toggle it again to turn it back on. And there are your activities. As I go back to watch Apple TV, you can see how quickly it will switch back to the other one. And we're back on Apple TV. Then at the very top of the remote is the off button, and that is a master off that turns everything off, and you're back in standby and ready to be fired up again with one of these activities.
So there you have it. There's a run through of how I use the X2 to set up all my activities for all of my devices, all 4 of them if you include my TV, into the Sofabaton activities. How did I get all those commands in there? Well, the Sofabaton app makes that very, very simple. In fact, if you compare the process of the X2 and the U3, it's a little bit ironic that the X2, the more advanced remote, does give you more detailed, easy to follow instruction as you go through each step on the app. The U3 is going to require some intuition and some special customization and maybe some closer looks at the instructions so that you can set up not only your devices but macros that can turn your experience into sort of an activities experience. And here's the deal: if you want to purchase a Sofabaton X2, U3, or the X1S, use the links below, as I am part of the affiliate program and I can become a personal customer support member for you. So consider a purchase through one of the links below as a chance for you to get a bonus customer support member for you. I'd be happy to get on the phone and walk you through any details should you get stuck along the way as you're setting up. The X1S, a huge improvement over the original X1, still available from Sofabaton. The U3, the more affordable version that can get all your devices in there, and the brand new, heavier, aluminum finished X2. All available from Sofabaton. Use the links below to purchase your Sofabaton products and get in touch with me if you have any more questions. Be sure to like and subscribe and pass this along to any other people you might know that might be interested in the Sofabaton products or home theater enthusiasts in general. And we'll catch you next time on another edition of Inside the Home Theater.